It looks like they went away pretty cleanly there. This is Durham University's B crew against Oxford Brookes University A. Always hard for a B crew to be up against any A crew, and that can only be a little bit worse when the A crew is from one of the most, would we say, outstanding university clubs of the last decade.
Yeah, here we see Brookes out of the blocks very fast, won 3 of the last 5 years in this Temple Challenge Cup, and well, Durham have held on to them. I think that's all you can do in this kind of situation. The Durham B crew, as you say, they've got to give it everything they can to see if they can rattle Brookes, but for me, Brookes already look like they've got a little bit of a looser, longer stroke.
Yeah, you can see the way that Brookes are rowing. It's very confident. It's relatively laid back, given that they're still really in the early part of this race, in the first few strokes. And if you look at Durham by comparison, they're doing well. They're keeping the stroke rate high, but it's just a little bit tighter in the shoulders. It doesn't look like something that's going to be sustainable. They're going to have to find a rhythm pretty quickly that they can settle into.
Yeah, exactly. And here we are riding with Durham, and you can see a little bit more tension in the shoulders, and they really are shoveling it hard because they've got to spend all the beans in the first part of the race if they're going to stand any chance at all of rattling the mighty Oxford Brookes. But so far, nice stroke length set there by the Durham stroke, and that is Dominic Newton, aged 20, trying to set the rhythm now that his crew can sustain to stay in touch with Oxford Brookes, and you can see they're already starting to break towards clear water. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Brookes crew look pretty confident here, I think I'd say. You know, they were Bucks champions this year, and I think we'd be hard-pressed to find another British crew that can really put them on the back foot. So it might be that we start looking to some of those overseas crews. But this Brookes crew, I mean, the last three out of 5, yes, but they won in 2014 as well. And actually, if you remember last year's race, I think it was their stroke man had an unfortunate medical incident during the race, and actually, so who, you know, might it have been last year as well?
Could have been even more. And yeah, not only did they win Bucks, the British Universities Championship, and also Ratzinger, both by a huge margin of 10 seconds. They have got really strong pedigree, and I suspect that's something of the confidence we saw so early in the race from this crew, to know that they've got that kind of speed, and they can draw on that strength and that confidence as they pole along down through the Henley course for the first time. It looks like it's going to be the first of a number of times for this Oxford Brookes crew.
Absolutely, but you know, they're still keeping their rate high. They're still moving along comfortably, but you know, they're not settling. They're not taking it down yet. They obviously want to get a good run out over this course.
Yeah, and now we can see umpire Richard Phelps, who is steadying them in his Cambridge blue blazer, overlooking the Palatinate of Durham University B on the left, and Oxford Brookes, as you say, stretching out really strong and really long, rowing into this breeze. You can see the flags on the side of the course there blowing around, and you can see something of the roll on the water. By this time in the afternoon, we've got a few pleasure cruisers out there as well. That adds to the trickiness for both crews.
Definitely good to get that practice in with the rougher water early, because that is only going to get worse. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, especially if the weather's nice, you know, then it can get really, really tricky to manage.
Well, I think we've had almost all the weather already today, haven't we? Because it's been beautiful sunshine and still to begin with, but then the wind blows up and down and up and down, and it makes it challenging for the athletes. But Zoe, and here we are looking at the Oxford Brookes crew. If you're sitting coxing a crew at this regatta on this day, how are you approaching it, and how would you approaching coaching these guys?
Well, I think if I was in a crew of this kind of pedigree that was leading comfortably at this moment, I'd really be using this opportunity to get a good visualization going down the course, what it is that I wanted to get on every single day of racing. So whether that's saying, okay boys, look, we're in the lead now, we don't need to do it right now, but you know, on Friday against bigger opposition, then this is where we're gonna do our push here. This is where we're going to be focused on our catches, on finishes, on a different part of our stroke. You know, this is where we're going to be looking to lengthen out. This is where we're going to be looking to take the rate up. So this is prime opportunity to practice that. And, you know, the experience of being at Henley is not one you get every day. So you've got to use those opportunities when you have them.
Brilliant. So that's how you paint the picture of the course and embed it in the minds of the crew, even when they're not under huge pressure as they are here. You're using it to rehearse, maybe not the full wattage, but rehearse where the moves are, so that when the athletes might come under pressure, they can respond almost automatically.
Absolutely, and these are experienced athletes. Most of these guys in this Brookes crew have raced here before, but you don't stop learning, and I would still be doing that whether I was in a, you know, in a GB crew who'd raced here dozens of times, or in a novice crew that had only, you know, this was their first regatta.
Yeah, and look, from a rower's perspective, however experienced you are, however hard you train, you're often pushing yourself to the point where it's really hard to focus mentally, and we really need that clarity. One of the things I've always appreciated about coxes is their ability to cut through the pain and really make you remember what you've practiced, and that's such an important thing, as you say, the visualization and the calls, often the same words in the same places, that just allow you to do it automatically, whatever the pressure is you're under.
Absolutely. You can see now from these images that Brookes are starting to just turn things down a little bit more relaxed, lower rate of striking, whereas Durham are still really keeping that pressure on. You know, they're not going to want to let Brookes walk away with this. They're going to want to give the absolute best show that they can, and these guys, I think, on the whole are a bit younger, newer to the sport. Some of them have done maybe one Henley before, some are development athletes from Durham, so, you know, this is a learning experience for them. These guys are going to be back.
Absolutely, and just looking at the sort of the style there, so I think you can say maybe a bit more ragged, a bit more tension in the shoulders. This is what happens when you've spent so much energy early in the course. Obviously, Brookes are now very low rate of strokes per minute and able to be comfortable. But you can see the contrast there. Durham, also as they get tired, catching the water a little bit. There's the back of Jude Leavesley Richards, 19 year of age. Right into the headwind there, swinging very nicely through the boat. I mean, there's lots to say that's positive about this Durham crew. It's just the contrast with the mighty Brookes that is so marked. Yeah,
I think this Brookes crew is absolutely outstanding, and we can see them there from the back. You just see how they swing and sit back and relax. And we can see them coming towards us now in the commentary box, and they just look quite imperious, really.
Yeah, they're just gliding beautifully over the top of the water, stopping at the finish almost completely and letting the boat run at its fastest point as they approach the finish line. Well, that's Oxford Brookes A, not too surprisingly through to Wednesday, the second day of Henley Regatta this year. And as Durham approach the line, well, that's no shame on them to be up against such a strong crew. You can see the water on their back, the spray's been flying around in the wind there, but well done to Durham. Going up against somebody like that's intimidating, but those guys will be back, as you say, Zoe, for the future. So that's confirmation of the result. Oxford Brookes University A goes through to tomorrow, beating Durham University B.